This is going to be a raw video on what our sales process looks like for cold calling leads. This video is going to be made specifically for beginners, just because we don't do cold calling super heavy right now. We still do it a little bit, but this is for people that are just starting out and cold calling is their only option because they're starting out with a low budget. Again, my name is Maher. I'm a full-time real estate investor. I'm 25 years old. I started in this business when I was 22 years old. It's actually 21, turning 22. And as you can see here, this is a screenshot with last month's date. This is April 22nd. I'm shooting this video the end of May. So this was last month. These were two assignment fees. One came in the earlier of April and one towards the end of April. The first one was $19,250 and the second one was $18,700. These were two assignment fees that got wired, and both of these specifically came from cold calling. So we're going to kind of go over, what our sales process looks like for cold calling and why I think it's going to be the best marketing channel for beginners. And I do think all beginners, whether you do have a big budget or a smaller budget, should get starting in cold calling, specifically because you have to learn the sales process with real estate, wholesaling, and get used to talking to sellers. You can definitely come in this business if you have a big budget and spend 5-10 grand a month on Google PPC leads, like the best leads, but they're going to be harder to sell if you have no experience. They're going to be harder to convert. Sorry, and their leads are very, very expensive. So you're going to let a lot of money get down the drain. So the very first part of this, like how we're going to go over this step by step, the very first part is you're going to want to get a list from PropStream and pull that specific criteria of homeowners. For example, in the other video, I taught you guys to talk to investors in your city before you even pull a list, so you know what kind of properties to pull and how much the investors are paying for it. So whatever your investor or the investors that you speak with, whatever their criteria is, you're going to pull that from PropStream. For example, ours in Vegas is properties built after 1990, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath minimum, and we'll only do ARV or buy properties up to $500,000. So anything below that we'll buy, anything over that we'll kind of pass on it, unless if it's a killer deal. So once you're going to want to get that list from PropStream, then you're going to want to skip trace the list. And all skip tracing means is getting the phone numbers of the homeowners so you can call them. So once you get the list of specific properties and the property owner's info, you're going to want to then upload the list into a dialer. And I put right here a minimum of a 3-line dialer. So what a dialer is basically when you upload that list of homeowners, it's going to call 3 of those homeowners at the same time, dial 3 numbers instead of you just picking up the phone and dialing numbers one by one. And this is a super, super fast way to dial a bunch of homeowners rather than doing it one by one. The investment's pretty minimal. It's $150 a month for, I think it's the best dialer in the game right now is Ready Mode. And I think they're a 12-line dialer. So this is gonna help you guys talk to more homeowners and really talk nonstop talking to people that own properties. Because if you're dialing them one by one, a lot of them don't answer. So I would really recommend investing into a dialer. The dialer again that we use is Ready Mode. You can use stuff like Call Tools or even Mojo. It really depends on what you like and kind of the user face that you're comfortable looking at and working with. So once you upload the list into a dialer, then you're going to want to give that dialer to a VA. You want to hire a VA, virtual assistant from, I recommend South America, just because their English is a little bit better. There's not too much of a language barrier. When I first started in the business, I did hire from Philippines, and they were still very good. Their rate, it was like around $4 to $5 an hour, which is very, very affordable. They were good, but they're not as high performance as the ones from South America. Right now, I like to hire from South America and even the Middle East, places like Egypt. I would still, if your budget is lower, I would start out with the Philippines because that's definitely going to be the most cost effective, and they're still going to generate you leads. Just maybe not as many leads and not the best leads. But the VA should do around 1,000 dials per day with a multi-line dialer, and that's like with a full 8-hour working day. And in a full 8-hour working day, or the industry standard for one VA is going to be 2 leads per day. And obviously, if you're in a tougher market like Southern California or Northern California, they might only generate you 1 lead per day. Even in Vegas, I think our average is around 1.5 leads per day per cold caller. It used to be 2. Sometimes even in the beginning when our cold callers were really dialed in, it used to be 2.5. And you also, you get out what you put into the cold caller. So the more you train them, the better your numbers are going to look. So in the beginning, 1,000 dials, they might get 1 lead per day, But if you train them more and more, especially if you're cold calling and you learn the tricks, that could turn into 1,000 dials, maybe get you 2 to 3 leads per day. And yeah, again, so if you're in a less competitive market, for example, here down like in Mobile, Alabama, small town in Alabama, you're gonna probably get 3 to 4 leads per day with 1,000 dials. So it really depends on what market you're in, and don't just think about the more rural the market is, the more leads you're gonna get per cold caller. It's not the case because in Mobile, Alabama, the average assignment fee can be probably around $10,000, whether in when in Southern and Northern California, the average assignment fee is going to be closer to 50,000. So keep that in mind when you're picking a market. And I always recommend to pick a market that's in your backyard. So once that you're going to give the VA put the VA on the dialer, they're going to do $1,000 1,000 dials per day, 5 days a week, and that's going to probably get you around 10 leads a week on average. And then the VA, so what they're going to do is when they get the seller on the phone that raises their hand, they're going to fill out a form. It's a web form online. They're going to put the property address, the lead info, why they want to sell, how long, what their timeline looks like selling, and then DM me the word script or comment the word script, and I can send you our cold caller script so you can give to the VA. And it goes over the four big pillars: condition, timeline, price, and motivation. So once the VA gets that all from the seller, they're going to push that over to you in your CRM. And you, as the business owner, and especially in the early stages, should only focus on doing sales. Sales is the lifeline of this business, and it's going to be generating you the most income. If you do other tasks that don't really generate you revenue, it's going to be a really really tough business to do well in. So yeah, once the VA calls up the homeowner and sends over that lead to you, you're going to want to call that seller the same day and make that offer. And if you don't know how to make an offer, I have another video on that. But this is kind of just the sales process. I can make another video on how to make an offer, or if I don't already have one on my channel. But yeah, this is very crucial to call the seller the same day because sellers are all over the place. Sometimes, they say they want to sell or consider an offer. If you wait 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, they might change your mind. If you call them the same day and strike while the iron's hot, you might be able to get a contract and get a deal. And again, you as the owner should only focus on sales, especially early on in the business. Later on, you can focus on marketing, operations, and things like that. But you should really only be focused on generating revenue activities. Basically just be on the phones as much as you can, talk to homeowners as much as you can. Again, if you don't make any offers in this business, you're not gonna get any deals. No deals, no income. So remember that if you're not giving offers, you're not getting deals. um, and this is what I would focus on if you're just starting out. This is like the bare minimum that you guys have to do. Call 100 leads per day or make 500 dials on the dialer. $500 dials on the dialer is around 4 hours of cold calling. But I would really focus on calling the leads in your CRM. 100 dials per day in the CRM, and this should get you around 2 to 3 hours per talk time per day. And in the beginning, I would really focus on spending a lot of time with the sellers instead of just rushing off the phones. Don't try to get off the phones as fast as possible. Oh, you want to sell your property? Yes. Okay, here's your offer. Just offer them too quick or give them the price too quick and not build enough rapport. The key to this business is to build a lot of rapport with your sellers, and that's what's going to make them, consider an offer from you and do business with you. People do business with people they like and trust. So don't focus on the amount of dials you make per day. Focus on the quality conversations that you have. Again, in this quality conversations, with those you're going to be able to with quality conversations, you're going to hit 2 to 3 hours talk time easy per day. You should focus on trying to making 2 offers per day. Again, no offers equals no deals. You make a lot of verbal offers, even written offers. You're gonna get a lot of contracts, which is gonna equal a lot of income. Um, Keep the leads organized and really focus on the hot and warm leads, but still always do your follow up. When you have too many leads to handle, then you can start thinking about hiring a lead manager. But in the beginning, just keep them classified. And another easy way to do this is think about a lead, somebody that wants to sell within 30 days. The next 30 days, they're going to make a decision. That's hot. And from, the next 30 to 90 days, I would consider that warm. And then everything after that is cold. Cold leads, I would follow up with once a month or even twice a month. And those are people that, tell you call back in 6 months or don't want to make a decision for, until after 4 to 6 months. Warm, you're going to want to call them every other week. And these are people that are ready to make a decision within 30 to 90 days. And the reason we're going to call them every week is because people change their mind. If they say they're going to, call me back in 3 months, they're going to want to sell in 3 months. Circumstances might change and they might want to sell in 2 months or even 1 month. And then obviously hot leads, people that are ready to sell and make a decision within the next 30 days, you want to talk to them every single day so you're top of mind. Um, and again, yeah, as you can see right here, these are assignment fees for the last month. In April, we did close to 40,000. Actually, we did around 45,000 because we did get into a wire from, or it was a check from another title company that got mailed to me. And as you can see here, it's Maher Capital LLC. This is my LLC. I did block out the available balance and the last couple digits of my account number for obvious reasons. But if you want me to help you how to get started in this business specifically with the low budget, reach out to me. Also, DM me the word script, and I can send you our cold calling script. But yeah, also there's going to be a link below if you want to book a call with me. If you want me to teach you guys how to do this, and it is going to be an investment. It's not something free, just because I will put a lot of time into helping you guys getting started with this business.